Well, we're going to look today at Psalm 44 in the time we have remaining. Yesterday, we began part 3 of this psalm. The psalm goes, God, I've heard you're great. Part 2, I am not experiencing that right now because you've let me experience defeat. Part 3, I'm not going to forget you. I'm going to resolve who you are, who I am, and I'm going to wait on you. So we pick it up today. We studied verse 17 yesterday. All this has come upon us, yet have we not forgotten thee, neither have we dealt falsely in thy covenant. Now look at verse 18. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from thy way. Though thou hast sore broken us in the place of dragons and covered us with the shadow of death, if we have forgotten the name of our God or stretched out our hands to a strange God, shall not God search this out? For he knoweth the secrets of the heart. Yea, for thy sake are we killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Awake, why sleepest thou, O Lord? Arise, cast us not off forever. Wherefore hidest thou thy face, and forgettest our affliction and our oppression? For our soul is bowed down to dust, our belly cleaveth unto the earth. Arise for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake. This is a hard psalm. I got to tell you, this is a tough thing to read, and yet we need it. The part 3 of this psalm is really, in essence, I'm going to wait for you. Wake up, God. Come back from wherever you are. Remember me. I don't know where you are, what's going on, but I'm not going anywhere. God, here I am. I'm going to walk through this for your sake. I'm yours. You're mine. You must have a purpose. You must have a reason. And that reason makes this worth it someday. So I'm going to wait. I'm not going to give up. And that's what the reaffirmation is in verse 18. That's what I want to focus for just a few minutes on. Look at verse 18. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from thy way. God, my heart's not going anywhere, and neither is the rest of me. Okay? My path is not going to change, and my attitude towards you, my posture towards you, my spirit towards you is not going to change. I am going to keep my heart fixed and my steps focused. I am going to keep my attitude in check, and my adoration and my devotion to you is not in question. It's not up for negotiation. And my steps, my direction is not going to change. Now, this is powerful. This is profound. And it speaks, this is what I want you to grab. It speaks to the internal world as well as the external. It speaks to our devotional world as well as our directional externals, our directional life. It speaks to our attitudes and our heart and our devotion to the Lord internally, but it also speaks to our behaviors, our steps, our visible external lifestyle. And they go together, okay? They go together. There are believers who have a heart of devotion, but it doesn't produce steps of direction. And that is useless in the sense that a true heart of devotion is going to show up. If I'm truly devoted to Dana, I'm going to express that devotion. I'm going to live out that devotion. It can't just reside in me. And if it merely just resides in me, friends, then it is not true devotion. It's just psychological, emotional devotion. Okay? In other words, it's therapeutic. It's a kind of devotion that makes me feel good about how I view my relationship with Dana, but it doesn't express itself, and a true devotion would not be sufficient to remain within. If your devotion to Jesus is sufficient to remain within your heart, then it's not real devotion. It's just psychological, therapeutic emotion. It makes you feel better, but it's not missional. It's not accomplishing his purpose. It's not expressed to him in tangible ways. This is why Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. He was saying true love that's not just therapeutic, that's not just psychological and emotional and self-serving. True love does. True love expresses. True love walks, it's self-giving, it's self-sacrificing, it is expressive. And the psalmist is expressing this same principle, that even though God has led me into a difficult place or allowed me to experience defeat, I am not going to let my heart go anywhere. My heart is going to remain devoted in a way that will keep my steps directionally committed. So my heart determines my direction. My steps are the outward expression. My lifestyle, my conversation, to use the New Testament word, my actions, my behavior is going to align with my heart. So some believers have a heart of devotion that doesn't manifest itself in directional living, okay? Other believers have directional living that doesn't flow from a heart of devotion. And there are two ditches, one on each side of the road, okay? The first ditch is, I love Jesus, but I don't ever show it, express it, live it out. It doesn't make a bit of difference in my life. That's not real love. It's just therapeutic emotionalism, okay? On the other side of things is, in a rejection of emotionalism, we just commit to duty, to ought-tos, to have-tos, to objective performances, as though God just wants our performance. And no, that doesn't cut it either. That's a ditch of its own making. That's a short-lived, legalistic, I'm just a doer. God doesn't love me. I don't really love him. I'm just executing things. I'm just objectively performing for God. And there's no relational sense to it. No, the real Christian life is a heart of love that's relationally devoted and intimately connected to Jesus that can't stay contained. It's got to be expressed. And so it expresses itself with steps, with lifestyles, with directional decisions of obedience and missional followership and keeping of his commands out of a heart of love. Not because I ought to or have to, but because I want to. Why do I want to? Because I love him. Why do I love him? Because he first loved me. So, my friend, I'm done. But meditate on this today. God, no matter what the circumstance, my heart is not turning away, and I will let my heart of devotion manifest itself in steps directionally committed to you. Happy Wednesday, my friend. Join us tonight at 7 for The Hopeful Life. We'll see you tomorrow.